Okay, so I like to do this each time. Not only just the recap, but just some one-word shout-outs. Okay, you can use 3 words or something like that. But what about last winter? What were your thoughts? We got lame. We got boring. What else we have?
Not much.
Come on, it snowed. Okay, that's enough. Where's the? I like the arrows. Weird. Oh wait, can I click and it just goes? Okay, yeah. We had a mild winter. We had a La Nina winter. Well, wait. Or was it a La Nina winter? Those of you that know it was right on the edge. Officially, it was not. What's the wording? It was, maybe you'll cover this, Tanya. But it was not an episode. It was kind of La Nina-ish. La Nina light. Okay, so luckily it's back. I'm kind of concerned because on September 11th, this newspaper in San Francisco said it's going to arrive right in the Bay Area, which must mean it's not over us, right? So we must be fine this winter. Just one thing, Jim, you said something about third-party sites, social media. Oh my gosh, it's nuts. The amount of stuff out there is crazy. Okay. I know we got big things going on today downtown, but in here we're just dealing with facts only, no politics, so no politics here. We want to recap last winter, 2024, 2025. All right, so just a quick recap. Near normal temps, we had near normal precip, okay? There were just 2 weeks with typical La Nina conditions, which means, cooler and wetter than average. It was really concentrated, I think, in early February there. We had no major windstorms. We had no Arctic blast this last winter. North and central Cascade snowfall was near average, but there was a huge snowpack in southern and southeast Oregon, which was great for water supply down there. Remember the flooding and burns this spring? So that's good. Official snow total, I'd like to highlight this with blinking. 3 inches, 3.0 inches. Snowfall observations have been taken out at the Weather Service office in Park Rose since 1996 when they moved from the airport. And downtown, they faithfully take the snowfall observations there, KGW 3.5 inches. And notice both 1.7, 1.8 inches. So this isn't confusing at all. Oh, the poor public. With all our alert, are we being recorded? Is somebody recording? I forget.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Outward.
oh, you can edit? Okay.
Outward.
This is so, just, and I include all 4 main TV stations in Portland here. This was early February, all this drama, and during this period, at least through that early Thursday, we had a trace of snow. All that red, that's when we decided at KPTV, do we really need the that little rodent on there with all the other stuff going on in that graphic? So now we're big into simplified graphics. All right. Portland snowfall, so 3 inches. We did have a trace that first week, a lot of excitement. Those are local alert days, impact weather days, first alert days. I missed one. Thank you, Dave. The original, the OG right there. I don't mean you, I mean you too, actually. But also,
you.
Yeah. I just had a boss say, can you believe they're using that? And I'm like, they have before we did. Okay, so winter temperature anomaly, December through February, warmer than average. Another La Nina winter that was warmer than average. That's interesting. Not crazy warmer than average. I do need the arrows. I'm just like a kid. I have to have, oh, there it is. I need to be able to go backwards and forwards and quickly move between graphics. November was about average, a little cooler than average for us. Everybody notices these are warmers, the warm colors, and coolers, the cooler colors. Okay, we have to fly through because I got like 75 graphics. But you can absorb information quickly. This is the new world. This is 2025. January was about average in our western zones, a little above average in parts of the northwest, and then February was cooler than average. In fact, we were near average in the Oregon Western Valley zone, basically the lower elevations of western Oregon, northwest Oregon. And you can see the last 2 really cold winters, when you look back and say, when's the last cold winter? It was 2016-17. You see that really sticks out there. Can you see my?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, look at that. There we go. And then the old timers remember this one, 92, 93. Luckily, I wasn't in TV then. That was really fun. And then Oregon, just winter temps about average, so it's like, nothing was that exciting about last winter. Temps were near normal in November. We had no extremes. Nothing else to talk about there. A little wetter than average. See, look how quickly we're moving now. But we get to the 500 millibar maps and we slow down. So we had troughing along the west coast in November, so that's why it was a little cooler than average. Woo, wet in the mountains. Wet season was a very nice start there. Those are inches of rain or would be melted snow too. And then we had the tornado in Rockaway. That was on a weekday because I know I was working. Remember the video down here? I don't have the video, but you saw the dumpster like move one way across the parking lot, then back, I think, the other direction. Good indication maybe there was swirling going on, and sure enough, we had a tornado. That is officially, correct me if I'm wrong, Tanya, officially the last tornado we've had within our area, I think. Must be right, Chief. Oh!
In the database, but not to be, we have one to be entered yet.
The Newport one, and no. Oh, that was a tease. You better tell us about that.
I think there was one small little spin up recently.
Oh, okay.
We're still looking at that one.
All right. That's what we call a tease in the business. So most ski areas opened around Thanksgiving. I remember my son skiing like the 18th, I think, of the month. Nice snow. That was a nice start. We had a bomb cyclone offshore. The media got really excited. This was, it was 943 millibars out there on Wednesday the 20th, so that'd be a little over a week before Thanksgiving, and I believe that must have been the one that caused all the easterly wind damage up in Puget Sound. Big east wind there. It wasn't too strong here, just a little too far north. Compare that to the tracks of the big storms, the zone of death. Not the zone of death. The danger zone, let's call it that. That was a little too negative. Let's call it the danger zone right here inside 130 West. Oh, look at this. Come on, oohs and ahs. Oh, yeah, that is a nice one. Look at that thing wrap up like a little cinnamon roll. That is beautiful. And then the sun went down. Same thing there. So December then, we started cool, and then it went real warm. Third warmest December on record. No chance of Christmas snow. That was going to happen. And look at the lows. Any of the warm colors there, the red colors are above average lows. So a lot of clouds. There was that brief sunny cool spell at the beginning. That was nice. I like those periods in winter. It gets us out of the gloom. It rained a bunch, a little above average, not excessively wet or stormy. And then ridging. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is what? Oh, this is the first half of December. So then we did have ridging, and then we went to troughing. Lower than normal heights, southwesterly flow. That's why it was cloudy. It was wet. Let's call it the Boxing Day windstorm because it was the day after. For you Brits out there, it was the day after Christmas. 41 mile per hour gust. At PX 48 at Hillsboro, very exciting. It was kind of windy. 51 there at Scotts Mills. And then January, we have upper level ridging over the west coast. The first half of the month was mild and wet, and then it turned very dry. The second half of what's going on here? So for those of you how many of you were at the March meeting? Yeah, so I do a much longer version of this in March to fill the whole meeting, okay, at the brew pub. And so this is just a trimmed down version, so we don't go on here forever. But first half of the month, we had higher than normal heights over the west coast. And then the ridge got stronger. It shifted slightly to the west. And I remember there was a little bit of excitement, like, ooh, some model runs show it farther west, and we get into the cold air. No. So instead we had nice cold nights in the 20s, and then sunny days up in the upper 40s to 50. That was great. I remember hiking up above my house, and it was crunchy leaves like it was August. It was great. And you see, look at how long it was dry there. So we had a new record, consecutive days with no measurable rain in Portland in January. 18 days without rain. So typically it's our third wettest month. Nope, not this year. And temperatures were slightly below normal. You see the highs look about average, I suppose, just eyeballing it. Okay, and then you see the lows, they really drag down the average temperature. But that's nice to see. A lot of times in winter we don't get that continental feel. Is Greg here? You know who you are. Greg Carriage, are you in the room? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh wait. Okay, just making sure. All right, so then that's good. Somebody wants a picture with you, by the way. Yeah.
As long as it isn't ice.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, the ice section is coming up later. Is that what I thought you were talking snow. Okay, yeah. You probably have your passport, you're fine. So early January, excellent snowpack there. Wow, look at those numbers, 200% of average. But then by late January, see what that dry spell did? Then below average. February, then the high shifted further west, farther west, furthest time. And then look at that, it got us into the cold air, at least for the first 2 weeks of the month, but then by the second half of the month, the ridging was back. And it felt like spring, and you see the high temps there.
Yeah.
And that was our big excitement right there, folks. All of this leads up to that. A high of 35 and a high of 38. Yeah, about average rainfall. Astoria got rain. The first few days of February, we had the cool onshore flow showers. And the coastline sometimes does really well with those convective showers in wintertime. You know, Tillman, Netarts, 3 inches of snow, 6 inches at Ilwaco. It's pretty cool. And this was on the 4th. I believe this might have been a weekend. Maybe. Maybe not. It doesn't matter for the purposes of our talk here, so I don't know why I brought that up. But the point is, we had snow on the beaches. None in Portland during this time. Lowest 850 millibar temp. Those of you that know 850 millibar temps, minus 8.7. In fact, just Steve Pierce texted me. We talked about this earlier this week. What was the lowest 850 this winter? And I said, I think it was minus 9. One thing that did happen when we had that big, deep snow cover, south central and southeast Oregon, Klamath Falls, minus 14, record low. Is that the all-time low? That seems hard to believe Klamath Falls would have a colder low than that all time. But
That's just February, if I remember correctly.
oh, that's it. Yes, you're right. Yeah, they're all February, it says right there. Yeah, and then Burns, minus 27. And Burns has cold nights, but geez. So we had surprisingly uniform snow totals, Northwest Oregon, Southwest Washington. We had one wave of the snow on a Thursday morning. The city kind of shut down. I think some of the freeways kind of half melted that afternoon. Then we had freezing rain and ice pellets that evening. And then we had, this was changing. I remember driving home, it was changing back to snow, which was kind of cool. And in the end, we had pretty uniform, you know, usually when we have snow here, it'll be like part of town gets an inch, part of town gets 4 inches. Really uniform snow totals. Everybody was happy. The teachers got out of class, and the kids got out of class this day. Probably, I assume they were out in the morning, the Valentine's Day too. What a nightmare for florists, can you imagine? Sorry. You didn't like it? Are you a teacher?
Florist.
Oh, man. That must have been a fiasco, right? Oh. Sorry, and if it would have been 2 days later, 2 days earlier? No, had to be right then. And then we went right back into warmer weather. It was interesting, this is just a few models, a graph that we use, and 3 of the 4 TV stations have this as kind of their primary model. It was okay, 1 to 3, 4 inches. That Canadian was fine. GFS was a little, you're not gonna slam the GFS just for fun. It's a little heavy. And then there were some really light ones. The Her and the Nam were terrible. So there you go. But it was a classic setup. Another one of those shallow cold air things where the cold air comes in from the east. Seems like we have a lot of these shallow cold air masses the last 10 years or so. Low moved onshore. That was the end. It was out of here. We did have a minor windstorm on the 24th of February, 983 millibar low. Ooh, look at that beautiful packet of isobars. We could just get that right over here. Maybe at 9:55.
We're 9:40.
Oh, now you're getting greedy. Yeah, so, by the way, when you're looking for a windstorm here, the best setup, let's pretend you want a windstorm. Nobody wants anybody to get hurt. We don't like damage, but it is pretty cool when the trees are screaming and they kind of fall here and there. But you want a deep low to cross about like this, right here. Most important is the isobar orientation. In the Willamette Valley, you want those isobars east and west like this. When they go northwest or northeast to southwest, they're not as good. You want the wind to go straight up the valley with the, perpendicular to the isobars for us in this area. So 80,000 outages for PGE, peak wind gusts. There you go, 52. I believe that may have been the highest of the winter. I guess I'll have a graphic coming up. Coastline got nailed. Pretty good stuff there. And then, is it fall spring or is it early spring if it's February 27th? I mean, it's practically spring. Yeah, so there you go. Warm for 2 days. It's over. Winter's over. Washington didn't do very well during this almost La Nina winter for their snowpack. Look at, what's the date? Yeah, the end of February. Not very good up north. And then by late February, everything's looking good on the snowpack. Down south, we're about average up north. Mid-March, big improvement after the January dry spell. Just mountain snowpack, again, seems to be a trend here. Big snow, this just shows the blue line. Is it blue? I'm kind of color challenged. I think, blue. You see where the snowfall ramps up at Timberline around January 1st, Christmas break, right? And then again in mid-March. But look how, once again, the green line is at the average melt-off. Even with all that snow near average, quicker melt-off than normal. Warm Springs. You got Warm Springs, same thing, Crater Lake, record high snowpack there at Annie Springs. on January 1st, kind of close to the record. The top of the shading here is the all-time high at 81 date. And you see, they were still near record levels, what's that, April 1st? And they ended up melting off at or slightly below normal, earlier than normal. So, warm, dry springs. So Cascade snowfall, you have big snow in mid-November. Everybody got operating, people were happy, not much snow. You know, it was getting kind of boring in late January, but if you like sunny skiing, it was good. Huge snowpack in southeast Oregon. If you want to look at these more closely, you have to come to the March meeting. Gardeners, we got a bunch of gardeners here, like to grow things. We have such a perfect climate for growing stuff. And it was an easy winter. I still have bamboo that I'm pretty sure was damaged by the January freeze a year and a half ago, and it finally came back at the end of the summer big time. So I assume that's what caused it. 24, that was the coldest temp. More important is, what was the coldest high? I think 35. And you can tell when we have the big Arctic air events, this shallow one, but it was extremely cold. January 24. Really, it was December of 13, right? No.
December 2013.
February 2014.
Well, then February 2014. But what'd you say?
For the winter 2013-2014, February 6th.
Yeah, there was a snow event there, but I thought, did we have a big freeze in December of 13 and 09? I'm thinking there was.
Yeah.
I thought there was a big freeze.
There was.
Yeah, okay. We've had 10 winters, with 10 consecutive winters with snow. We've never done that. I'm sure those guys will cover this in detail coming up. Interesting that the decadal snowfall has come back up temporarily. We'll see how long that lasts. Same thing downtown. Downtown records go way back. Oh, the glory days in the late 1800s. Didn't have electricity, and your water froze in your house. Your dog water had ice in it in the morning when you woke up. I guess you can call those the glory days. But they had a lot more snow back then. Peak gust, yeah, was 52 miles per hour. We're coming up on 30 years since the, it'll be 30 years this December, right? Since the huge windstorm. It's been a long time. We had a lot of east wind. I wouldn't have expected that in a La Nina winter. 69 days with a peak gust of 25 or higher from the east at Troutdale. See how some winters, when you have more progressive patterns, I mean progressive, things are moving through, okay? We tend to get fewer east wind days. Is that it? Final winter thoughts, a sort of meh winter, mild and somewhat dull. In the future, when we look back, we're gonna be like, hey, what happened that winter? And here we go. One of these days, I'm gonna get it. We're due for a snowless winter, a major windstorm, or a widespread flood. Oh wait, I had a few more. Hopefully somebody talks about this. What about the strongly cold PDO? Okay, extremely cold. Or what about the extremely warm entire northern Pacific? How will that affect us, or upper level ridging, stuff like that? How will that affect? Look at that. Record cool PDO in July. I don't know if August and September were record cool. They were close, I think. And that's a measure of warmth versus cooler. But notice it's not really cool along the west coast at all. It's just extreme warmth. So how is that must be different than record cold PDOs in the past? This is just on this website. I didn't credit them. Oh shit, I'm gonna get sued. This guy just says, it was interesting. He said, since 2020, these record cold PDOs are driven by the extremely warm Pacific, not by very cold Eastern Pacific, as in the past. And that's my tease. Is this what you want to see this winter? No. Can you believe that happened somewhere in the metro area? So just so you know, a little more about, very quickly, what's coming up in November. I always wondered about this, like, how did this happen? This is out in Troutdale. Sure, we get ice storms out in Troutdale, or the western end of the gorge. How did that possibly happen? And I was like, wait a minute, it's weird. It happened in the third week of November, so it wasn't even really winter. And for most of the region, it was a big flood. And for some of the region, the all-time snowfall records still stand from this weekend in late November of 1921. So what I do is not just about, my presentation isn't just about this, then I talk about the 1950 storm. How many of you remember that the Friday the 13th storm in 1981? Remember that one, the windstorm? Okay, just the older folks. But there was a previous Friday the 13th storm in Portland in 1950, which was fascinating. Wide variety of effects across the metro area. Parts of the metro were in a snowstorm, parts had a windstorm, and parts didn't have any snow. So that's my little tease for the November talk. I guess I better take the day off too. Or no, I guess I can take part of the day off. Okay, enjoy your winter.